Hey, what's up guys, CCox97 here, showing you how to beat Rainbow Six Siege Situation 10 on realistic difficulty. The final situation, this was the most difficult one by far. Even on normal difficulty, this one was difficult. In the end, I settled with about the first half. I'm pretty certain of what I'm doing. Right here, just shoot that guy in the head. Half the time he's not there. If he isn't, honestly, just restart the mission, really. Just make sure he's there. You can pistol whip this guy because you're going to need as much ammo as you can on your main gun. Now we're going to set up a breach charge here. Make sure to set at the bottom because there's going to be a guy going over and he could easily smash it and destroy it if you set it up high. Shoot this guy through the window. He's dead. Now we're going to back up here. The suicide bomber is going to get mad and head over to this doorway, and we're going to blow him up, which cancels the bomb. And then you can just shoot him in the head. It also stuns him, so he kind of stands still for a bit. So all this part is pretty simple and straightforward. Sometimes there's an enemy there. It wasn't this time. But honestly, this mission, towards the end, it gets so random and annoying that I basically just settled with what I got. This guy will be up here. Sometimes he'll see you, sometimes he won't. You end up shooting him. He ended up dropping down there. Startled me, but he is dead. So, at this point, I'm making sure no one's in this room. This was a frustrating mission, to say the least. We're going to climb up this ladder because if there's a guy at the bottom there, we won't have to do this, but he wasn't there, so now he's going to be at this spot. We're going to sneak through, and we're going to shoot his head through the glass. I think he's dead. And make sure to not vault over this. Hold down A, because you'll lose some health. That kept pissing me off when I would lose health here. Now we're going to climb up this ladder, and we're going to shoot a guy outside of a window, right where we're going to end up saving the hostage. Going to sneak through here. Make sure to stay quiet, otherwise he'll notice you. I think he noticed me here. Don't know why. Half the time he wouldn't notice me. Again, that random factor is all over this mission. So, towards the end, I basically had to improvise everything and just kind of use the tactics that I've been using throughout this series. And now we're going to run around all the way back to the beginning because we're going to be shooting some guys, or a single guy. Oh, you can drop down here and not lose health if you land on that little railing thing, or just the stones. You won't lose health. Just a faster way to get down because I don't like to take a lot of time. However, I did take my time at the end of this mission. I got shot a lot this mission. I barely ended up beating it. This was the one and only time I actually did beat it on realistic, because just, my god, it's a difficult mission. So, we walk over here. There's going to be a guy hanging out here. He'll eventually move to a spot that is easy to shoot him in the head. This entire first half is pretty simple. It's once we get the hostage is where it's just all over the place, and there's no easy way of completing it. He's dead. Sometimes there's a second guy out there, usually with a shotgun, but he was not there this time. I didn't really know, so just fast forwarding through all this, and I got back to what I was doing. So back on the path. This path is nice and straightforward. Melee right here. Throw your EMP grenade to get rid of all those nitrous cells, the ultimate trolls of this game. All of them are gone. Now we're gonna send out Will Wheaton and use that good old Rainbow Six Siege tactic of just marking the guys and then shooting them through walls. There's gonna be a guy hiding behind that barricade. Sometimes there's a barricade there, sometimes there isn't. Scanned him, he's behind the bar. Scan this guy just for fun. Gonna hide Will Wheaton right here. And we're gonna shoot him through the wall. There we go. Sometimes he gets brave. Look at those bullets. Sometimes he just shoots through the wall for no reason. Somehow he knows you're there. But I ended up stopping him. Now this guy, he'll sometimes have his head up right there, but this time he didn't. And if he doesn't have his head up, guess what? He's not gonna stand up forever. So we're just gonna meander our way on over here and just pistol whip him. There we go, he's dead. Now there's two more guys off to the left in there. We're not gonna deal with them because I just couldn't find an easy way of dealing with them. Sometimes a guy will end up walking over here, but he didn't this time, so I had to deal with him in a different way. But if there is a guy there, just shoot him. It's a lot easier. Heading up these stairs, gonna use our EMP grenade to get rid of all these nitrous cells. And as soon as we do that, we're gonna activate a guy to run over to that spot where we thought he was gonna be at. He's gonna be like, oh crap, I heard that, so I must run over here now. Just waiting for him to walk over. Definitely have your volume up high. This is a very sound-oriented game. He knew I was there. He somehow knew I was there, but we'll just move on. And now we're going over to the hostage room. Sometimes they don't have a barricade up. If they don't, then they'll start shooting at you, so I had to be careful. And gotta get rid of all these nitrous cells again. Now I like to clear out this staircase full of nitrous cells. I first shoot these towards the top because just for some reason my EMP grenade never gets rid of all of them. But there we go, they're all gone. Just making sure, because I do not want to get blown up again. I was attempting this and got blown up from a nitro cell, and that just annoyed me to no end. Getting rid of the annoying barbed wire. I don't know if I'm even going to take this path later. I just like to clear the way out. Now we're going to whip out Will Wheaton again. We're going to scan the 3 enemies in the room with the hostage. Got a little lost, but here we go. And once we scan them, we can usually shoot one through the wall, the others not so much. Now here's the thing about a lot of enemies, is if they start shooting at you, or if you shoot at them, if you don't kill them, sometimes they'll just start moving, and sometimes when they start moving, they'll charge at you. Like, they'll just break through the barricade and find you. And so, you kind of have to deal with the random factor in that. I scanned all them and then just accepted my fate, jumped at him like, hey, you can't kill me, but he ended up shooting at Will Wheaton. Oh well. Shoot this guy through the wall, he's the easiest to kill. And now what we're going to do is sneak around. I can't really shoot the other guy through the wall there because there's like a thing in the way. So I end up walking around over here towards the barricade, and you can kind of shoot him through the barricade. Sometimes he's standing up, sometimes he isn't. I don't think he was standing up this time around. And then he stood up, yeah, so he stood up as soon as I started shooting at him. So if I hadn't killed him, he would have probably broken his way through the barricade. This guy, he got really brave and decided to charge at me. Now I kind of waited for it a bit, and I knew he was going to pop up sooner or later. He actually went to try and destroy the barricade, but I killed him before he could do that. Gonna clear the barbed wire out of the way just because I hate it. And I like the extra points. Destroying the barricade. And now we finally get ammo. I don't like to deal with the enemies in the kitchen downstairs, mainly because there's no real easy way of taking care of them, and they can waste away your ammo, which you definitely need to kill these guys in this room. But now that we're restocked on supplies, I like to breach this part right here, blow the way through the floor just because it's cool, and we'll probably end up taking that path. So now as soon as we pick up this hostage, there's going to be guys running up the staircase. Sometimes they don't run up the staircase. Again, I'm going to be saying that a lot in this video. Sometimes they don't. Just that random factor is all over the place. Pretty much as soon as you reach the 3rd situation, the random factor takes over. The first 2, nice and easy. Everything is always the same. Almost nothing ever changes. So now that we're sitting here, if you hear footsteps towards the staircase, they're headed up. And you can shoot them right there. Now sometimes there won't be there. They won't charge up. Like one time I cleared out the entire house. I went downstairs in the basement and cleared them out. And there were still enemies that walked up here. And then there were some times where I pretty much killed no one and just headed for the hostage right away. And guess what? They didn't go up the staircase. So I don't know why. Now I'm going to skip through the rest of this. Just fast forward through all of it because I was being extra careful, making sure there was no one left. What is always certain is that as soon as you grab the hostage, 4 enemies spawn at the tactical pad. Those 4 default enemies are always there, always in the same spots. Now usually there's also a suicide bomber that spawns after that. You can't really find him on the map beforehand, so you got to deal with the suicide bomber and 2 extra guys that come along with him. I end up having to deal with them later, just in the forest out of nowhere. There's really no surefire way of dealing with them easily. I'm going to restock my supplies because every bullet counts at this point. There's no messing around. This is the final situation, and my goodness, on realistic difficulty, this is a hard mission. Going through there because I blew my way through it. I'm going to use it. Making sure they don't sneak up on you. Now this pistol, if you shoot them in the head with this pistol, they die. Unless it's a suicide bomber. Suicide bombers sometimes take more. But normal guy dies in 1 headshot. If you don't, you're going to be shooting at them for about 10 years till they finally die with this pistol. Scanning the area, well not scanning the area, but walking around. And at this point I believe they noticed me. I dropped the hostage, whipped out my good gun, got ready. Gonna use the leaning tactic. And there's one there, and then there's another one behind him who eventually, yep, I stood up and he ended up running away. I was like, dang it. And then at that point, I could hear the breathing of the suicide bomber. I got hit there. Stood up, killed him. There's the suicide bomber. I ended up getting to kill him from far away. Thank goodness, because the weird thing about the breathing of the suicide bomber is you can turn up your volume as high as you can. And for some reason, it always sounds like he's right next to you. You really can't tell which direction he's coming in unless you're paying attention to the blue light. So now we're running around this way, and there are only 4 more enemies to deal with. I didn't quite memorize where they were at, mainly because I'd been doing this mission for several hours, and this entire last part, as soon as you're dealing with all the enemies, as when you have the hostage, it's such a mess. I ended up getting hit a lot here. I pretty much just used the good old tactics that even if you don't have all of the tactics that I've told you memorized, all the specific spots where enemies spawn and stuff, the basic thing of surviving realistic is using Will Wheaton, scanning the area, and shooting them. That's the basics of it. So I know there's a guy in the light there, but I couldn't quite tell exactly where he's at, and I didn't want to give away my position just yet. So I decided to scan the area for the final 4 enemies. There's always a guy up there. These guys are usually in these spots. They usually spawn in the exact same spots. There's a guy over there. And then there's a guy around this staircase. There we go, hiding right there. That's the last enemy I had to deal with. Rolling up the staircase, gonna find the guy that I know is there. He's kind of next to the light, so I got him scanned so that way I can definitely kill him. Send Will Wheaton over here so that way he doesn't get shot at by the enemies. And he's right there. As soon as I stood up, I gave away my position to the other guy. That startled me. So now, that guy, guess what? That random factor, he decided to charge at me. Didn't realize that. He started speaking, he was like, I gotta go kill him. So I was like, oh no, where's he at? Where's he going? There he is. Had to hide behind here. Shot him several times and he kept living. Got hit again, so I'm running around this way towards the van. There he is. Got a nice headshot on him. So now there's 2 enemies left. Forgot that was the marker spot. I kind of would like it in this game if the marker for the enemy goes away after you kill the enemy. Kind of makes sense. So now we're running around over here. Definitely being careful because we got 55 health. A good shot from an enemy, you're dead at this point. Especially on realistic. Found that guy right there. Nice easy kill. And surprise attack. He ended up seeing me. Don't know how he saw me because I ended up running this path again and he doesn't notice me. I don't know why, but I was really scared at this point because one more hit and I'm dead pretty much. So I was being extra careful. Just making sure he didn't run at me because the other guy ran at me when he shot at me, but this guy didn't. I thought he might have. So I sent out Will Wheaton again. Just the basic tactics. Don't know where they're at. Use Will Wheaton to find them. Now I'm just going to fast forward through all this again. Just me messing around, making sure everything's nice and careful and smooth and safe. So that way I don't get shot again. Because if I do, I'm going to die. And I don't want that to happen. I'm going to put the hostage right here a little bit closer. And now I'm going to start sneaking up on him. Now look at this. I'm walking in the same path where I was before. But he doesn't shoot at me. Don't know why. I can't shoot him through the trees. Again, I already tried that tactic previously. But that just doesn't work for some reason. Being very careful. And there he is. That is the final enemy of the hardest situation and the final situation of Rainbow Six Siege on realistic difficulty. Go ahead and take the hostage, bring them to the tactical pad. But that is how you beat this final situation of all the single player missions in Rainbow Six Siege on realistic difficulty. Hope you guys enjoyed this series. If you did, like and share and subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Bye.